back, more Once Upon a Time. This is episode 17 of season 5. Very excited as always to carry on. It's going to happen next. Last episode we got a lot of focus on Hades and Zelina and kind of what their connection was, and seeing, you know, why the underworld looks like Storybook, why Hades is doing a lot of what he's doing, everything kind of unfolding with that, which was cool. And Belle and Zelina did end up in the underworld as well, which is going to be lovely and not at all messy. So yeah, I am very excited to see how this arc's going to continue on. You know, we've got a lot of like motivations revealed now. He's slowly but surely laying out all the pieces that I think will build to some sort of conclusion, you know, nearer the end of the season. But, you know, I think things are certainly getting to the escalation. I mean, when are things not escalating Once Upon a Time, to be fair? But certainly in this case, there's a lot going on. So yeah, I'm excited to see where we go next and what we're going to explore in this one. So let's get into it.
He's supposedly the vainest man in all the land. Fancies himself quite the hunter, both of animals and women. At least give him a chance.
No one's.
No one will fight for a child like his father. You've proven that much.
I guess.
No dark magic.
Well, that's the thing with dark and light. Depends on your point of view. In the end, you do what you can to protect those you love.
Right, well, I'd never resort to darkness because that's not what a hero does.
In the heat of the moment, you do whatever it takes.
When I burn these names from the graves, there'll be nothing keeping us here. We can all go back home.
Wait, something's wrong.
What? Oh my god! Oh.
Bad dream?
Jesus.
Is everything okay? Yeah. It's just good to see you.
I saw you get eaten by a wolf or something.
Look for a spell like that. Doesn't exist.
Actually, it does.
Kind of came to me in a dream.
A dream?
Hmm.
I'm gonna go somewhere.
No, that's not a good
Oh
idea.
yeah, she doesn't want that to come true.
Please, and get back to her son.
Okay. Things probably shouldn't be able to grow here, should they?
Hey, move on. I cannot have that. Of course not.
Evidently. He just really hates flowers. Maybe he's allergic.
This is your chance to be a great hunter once again. And this time, you're
Kill the beast!
I hunt only wild game, I assure you. My love life has been
Do you also shoot women?
It's an ogre.
Oh.
There's never been an ogre anywhere near the castle before. He's barely full grown. He's just a child.
Oh.
I can find out what this ogre's after without hurting him.
Without darkness. Always her way.
Gaston?
This is basically like earlier in the season with Merida, isn't it? It's just happening all over again.
You killed Gaston, my fiancé, and never thought to tell me?
It was an arranged marriage. I was doing you a favour.
This
Whoopsie.
was a mistake.
Let me use just a little bit of dark magic, just enough to take care of Gaston.
No, that's not how
He wants her to be Lacey again.
do the opposite. My dream, it wasn't just a dream! This is exactly how it happened!
Can we talk about that a bit later? We need to take
Uh-oh.
shelter now.
What do we do now?
Die.
For once in our lives, maybe we can just try acting like sisters. What happened between you and Hades?
A bicycle.
So I need to know what his weakness is.
This little visit wasn't just sisterly concern. It was about Hades.
No, it was both.
Oh, I'm sorry I don't have more to offer. I'm his only weakness.
Sorry, sister.
Using my power to steal another man's property, doesn't that qualify as dark magic?
This isn't...
Now you're being petty.
Oh, so you get to be the judge of when the ends justify the means, I see. As I said, it's all about points of view.
There's opening a locker and there's killing a man.
Thank you. I'm his unfinished business.
Oh dear.
I've finally found a woman of substance.
Well, you're not wrong.
Their eyes will glow with demonic fire.
So if we see no fire,
then the ogre means us no harm.
In case this creature is not innocent, you'll bring back your father and his knights.
I promise. And I'll see you soon.
Do you have other intentions, though? You're just going to kill the ogre.
How would you like to make a deal?
I married a man who makes deals. I know what that means.
You made me.
Why are you whispering?
Don't die. Let Rumpelstiltskin face Gaston if one of them throws the other into the River of Souls. I'll take the mark off your baby.
Damn.
No,
It's kind of
I
dark.
swore I'd help Gaston move on, and I keep my word.
With your child on the line, you are capable of anything. Let me know if you change your mind.
Heck.
Maybe this dream isn't just about the monster. It's about you working out some issues.
I don't have any issues.
I mean...
Much as it pains me, I have to agree with Regina.
Now I'm always frightened. I'm frightened that someone will die. And it'll be my fault. And I'll never forgive myself.
Oh, been there, done that.
Now, if you want to get home, let's do what works. Let's face this monster together.
Smash cut to Snow's grave. I'm especially good at expectorating.
This book reminds me why I died. Because you made me weak.
What, me?
I should
Oh.
have gone after Rumpelstiltskin with an army. He made you a servant. You should want him dead too.
No, I don't.
Why not?
He's my husband.
Ooh, it's gonna sting.
What happened?
The ogre had escaped when I arrived. He was waiting in ambush.
And you're quite lucky to be alive.
I'm so sorry. This
Interesting.
This is all my fault. We must know the truth before we hurt him.
Go home, Belle. It's what's best.
No. It'll be fine. I promise.
With it.
Now, you can trust me. About a man that can control dark for good. I really want to be that man for you. Truly. Just
Do you?
not today.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh, it's scared. There you go.
He's hurt. What happened to him?
Gaston's eyes are red. Oh.
You've made a fateful decision tonight.
Oh, meanwhile.
Revenge is such a tricky business.
Rebel, stop! Please, for all that we've shared, let me tell you one thing before you go through with
I do like the
this.
parallel of now it's Gaston on the other side of her defence.
I have always known who you really are. That's why I love you.
Why though?
But I also know who I really am, and I can't let you hurt him.
OUAT. Oh shit. You see, now that's a much more interesting turnout. When they don't just rely on Rumple was bad.
What I did was the right
Foolish
thing.
and petulant.
No, I did what I had to live with myself.
And now we're at war.
Has it occurred
They
to
were
you
coming
that
anyway.
our mistreatment of their young could have caused this conflict, not my act of mercy?
Our army is no match for theirs.
What will we do?
Get married.
Has your father told you the good news?
Good
Our
news.
kings will unite and we will defeat this threat.
I guess you're right. Darkness will always reign.
Well, no, that was an accident.
Since Belle did the deed. What a fun surprise
Oh dear.
that was. No deal.
No. I will get my baby free of you. Why did you push me to this?
I have my reasons.
Yeah. Well, things have not gone well. Oh, God. Uh-oh.
Nice shot.
Damn.
I think your dream was a vision, but it wasn't about saving me. It was about finding her.
When I saw it was a wolf thing, I was like, I wonder if it's Ruby. It is Ruby. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, you've killed her, but...
Red.
Okay, another very good episode. Some very interesting stuff in there. Particularly with Belle. I like that she was kind of the big focus of this one. And then, you know, the B plot alongside it with Emma and Hook and Snow and all of that. I think is more so set up for probably the next one, given how things ended off, which is also very exciting. But yeah, I really enjoyed the focus on Belle because, you know, there's a lot of characters in the show. I think Belle does sometimes get a bit left behind, normally quite literally. You know, she doesn't get to go to Neverland. She didn't get to go here at first. So I am glad that, you know, they gave her some really good stuff to work with in this one. The whole dilemma of, you know, she's pregnant with this guy's child, and she's very much on the side of light. He's on the side of dark. You know, she knows who she is. She knows who he is. You know, can they still make that connection work? Should she still be fighting for that when he's not really fighting for it right now? You know, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with that. Personally, I just think she should just leave it. That kid's better off without his dad around, I think. But yeah, it's cool to kind of get that material for her and to leave us off in a very interesting place, given how it all panned out with Gaston. Albeit accidentally, you know, she did kind of cause his eternal damnation, which isn't great, and therefore that played right into, you know, Hades' hands. That's exactly what he would have wanted, because it means he doesn't have to, you know, abide by the deal. Although I don't think he would have needed to anyway, even if it had been Rumpel who done it, because Belle kind of rejected him. He could have just been like, well, you didn't agree to it, so soz. So I think it's kind of a lose-lose situation either way, to be honest. But, you know, I'm sure Hades came away from that being like, all his flowers are dying, and then sending one to Zelina there. So they're continuing to explore the Hades and Zelina connection as well that we got in the last episode. So I am quite intrigued by that as well, because Zelina does seem to, you know, in that scene with Regina, she does seem to have feelings for Hades in return. We kind of got that sense anyway. But where's that going to lead? Is that going to somehow lead to maybe a redemption for Zelina and the downfall of Hades? Is she going to kind of twist a knife in him somehow, playing him somehow? I don't know where that's going to lead, or are they just going to team up and they're going to be villains together all over again? Not sure. But I do like that they're exploring that. And again, you know, I think, you know, I think they have struggled to know exactly what to do with Zelina a lot of the time. So it's good that we also have that plot line for her, and they brought her and Belle into it at the same moment. I'm like, okay, we know what to do with these characters in this plotline now. Let's bring them into the Underworld after a few episodes. So I was very glad that we getting some stuff for her, and, you know, everything with realising maybe she needs to take a step back from her kid, you know, because that's what's going to be safest for it right now. But that lingering connection to Hades as well, is that going to cause some kind of problematic, crazy, complicated stuff to go down? Probably, because it's Once More Time. But I am very excited about that. And I did like the scene with Regina coming to Selena. I think, I'd like to think there is some genuine care there for her from a basic level. You know, it's my sister. Maybe we should make the effort and actually try and be sisters at some point. I think Zelina's steps to be like, okay, I hurt the baby when I was around it. You take her away from me, you know, keep her safe. I can't be near her right now. And I think that probably was a big step forward in Regina's eyes to Zelina being like, okay, maybe I can give you the time of day after all. Maybe there should be a relationship being built up here. Maybe there is hope for you yet. Because Regina knows all too well exactly what it takes for redemption. and how hard it must be. So I like that she's seeing Zelina make some positive steps potentially towards that, and there's Hades undoes it all. We'll see. And is like sitting down, being like, let's just be sisters and tell me what's going on. Yes, she had the motive of she wants to know what a weakness for Hades could be. But I would like to think she was genuine when she said it was sisterly concern as well. And I would like to see them kind of build up that relationship a bit more into something maybe more positive and wholesome. We'll see. There's plenty of time for them to get there, hopefully. But yeah, I liked everything with that as well. And them kind of taking some tentative steps, but Zelina's connection with Hades is either going to go very well in helping us stop him, or, you know, it's going to make him all the more powerful if Zelina like joins him or whatever. I don't really know. That could go either way, which I think is the interesting thing with Zelina right now. The fact that she does now have a child involved, I think it makes it all the more unpredictable as to exactly where her loyalties are going to lie at any given time. I think she's very changeable in that sense, so that makes her quite interesting to see what her next move will be. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, the whole Belle stuff, I like the backstory we got with her dad and, you know, her first meeting Gaston. We had seen, we'd seen how things originally ended for Gaston. I think way back, it might have even been Belle's first episode. Was that the whole Gaston thing when, you know, Rumpel was like, boom, turns Gaston into a flower, whatever it was. And that was kind of the end of him there. But now we have like the end of him in this one properly. But I like that we kind of filled in some of those gaps, see how they were first met, how they ended up getting engaged and everything with that. The fact that Gaston is still a bit of a dick in this version, which makes sense. You know, the cruelest of intentions, I think. Wild at heart, I guess, is the best way of putting it for him. You know, he hunts beasts while being quite beastly himself on the inside, and I liked the mirror kind of showcasing that. He had evil intentions with his red eyes in the reflection. I thought that was, you know, it was clearly where they were going with that whole thing. That was going to be like the big reveal. But I did like how that all kind of came about, and, you know, the younger ogre and stuff, Gaston torturing it, wanting it killed, and all of that. They can just twist it and blame Belle for starting this war, even though this war was inevitable anyway. And Belle had some good points, you know, Gaston's brutality towards that ogre surely didn't help things either. But yeah, it is what it is. And I will say, I know Once Upon a Time does often get a bit mocked and berated, sometimes justifiably, for some of its CGI and stuff. I think you just need to remember it's a TV show at the end of the day. But that being said, I thought the ogre looked pretty good in this, I must say. I think they were quite confident with it, because we've got a lot of close-ups of it and just the ogre taking up the screen. So I think they were quite confident with the CG this time around. You know, some of it has been dodgy in the past, and a lot of green screen and stuff is obviously a bit like, ooh. But I will say, you know, it obviously wasn't there, but I thought, like, the actual design of the ogre and the look of it, I thought it was very expressive. So I want to shout out whoever kind of made the CGI for the ogre in this one, because I thought they did a damn good job on like a TV budget to make that look pretty damn good. So I enjoyed that kind of story. Belle trying to win Gaston over with like, there's a better way of going about things. People don't need to necessarily be hurt. And like choosing the path of lightness rather than darkness, I guess. A nice parallel to her doing exactly the same thing with Gold. She's trying to have that argument with him in the present day stuff as well, in the underworld. And doesn't quite work out per se with Gaston in the past. Certainly doesn't work out with Gold per se either in the present. So it's like, Belle, you deserve better. Just dump them both. But yeah, I did like the kind of parallels going on with that. And it was, you know, her defending something from Gaston in the past, and then in the present day, it was her defending Gaston from something else. I thought that was an interesting how they switched it. And then, you know, even though she was preaching all this stuff, she, albeit accidentally, ended up actually doing a dark thing and damning Gaston to that fate. I mean, I don't think Gaston was particularly pleasant, but I'm not sure anyone quite deserves that. And, you know, I wouldn't say I felt quite as bad about it as I did with the Mila situation when Gold, you know, very purposefully threw her away and damned her to that fate. Not saying that Mila didn't do any bad things either, because she wasn't the best of people at times, but, yeah, that's still a messy situation. So, you know, they have something in common. Another thing they have in common now, those two, they've thrown someone and damned them to eternal torture. True love. But yeah, that I do like that as how that kind of ended up, and just sometimes there are battles you just can't win. I thought that was an interesting thing to do with Belle, and much more interesting than just, oh, isn't Rumpel bad, as we already know, and he just does it, and that's that. But they wanted the added complication, I guess, of them still not being able to have their baby be freed from the grip of Hades. So that needs to obviously continue on for the rest of the season as well, I would imagine. And I thought that was an interesting way of doing it and actually changing things up a bit from what we might expect. So I quite liked how that all kind of came about, and hopefully we properly explore that divide between Belle and Rumpel in future, and you know how Belle's feeling about how that all played out. You know, she didn't mean to do it per se; it was very in the moment. But I think, was it Hades who said like in the moment, or maybe it was Gaston, or maybe it was even Gold. But someone said to Belle like in the moment. I think it was Gold actually. He's like, in the moment, you know, you're capable of maybe doing anything, especially when the baby's involved and stuff. So I like how that kind of came about, and in a way, you know, something that was being spoken about came true in that storyline. And then the other storyline was about Emma worrying that this dream she had was coming true, actually ended up being a bit different to that and didn't really come to pass. So I thought that was an interesting kind of switcheroo as well. The one that wasn't actually a story that wasn't even about like, oh, this thing is going to come to pass, we need to stop it, or, you know, is that actually going to happen? Is the one that actually did end up happening, if that makes sense. I thought that was quite clever in terms of structure and writing. I thought that was a witty thing to do, changing it up like that. So yeah, we'll see what position that leaves them in. And I did like Belle trying to force Rumpel's hand with the dagger, and then it all just went wrong anyway, because Gaston is still who he is, and he's still tried to kill Rumpel. You know, Belle doesn't want the father of the kid to die. It's messy, but I thought they set it up very, very well to make it like, well, you can see lots of different sides of how this is going to come about. And, you know, some people were very much in the wrong, some people weren't, but you can kind of see how everything still fell into place, and it's still a very like, oh God, messy, messy, messy. But yeah, I am excited to see where that leads. Because, you know, I really struggle with Gold now. I really do. He's like, I want to be that man for you, Belle, he says, while grinning, being like, just not today. Like, all happy that he's going to go and kill someone. I'm like, I just don't think he's worth the effort, Belle. I think you can do better. I don't care if he's a father of your kid. Like, ugh. That's going to upset a lot of people, I know. But for me, I can't be on board with that pairing. At least not now. It's going to take a lot of work for me to be won over again. And it's not a personal attack that I'm not that into Rumpel and Belle at the minute. It's just, you know, the way the story's gone, and if you still like them, fair enough. But, you know, that's how I'm feeling with it right now. I just like, Belle, just get out of this. you deserve so much better. And, you know, it's an interesting story that is just who he is, and Belle's been like, I've always known who you are, that's why I love you. But maybe that was just a trick to get closer, she could get the dagger. But she's also saying she knows who she is as well. And it's just that divide. That is an interesting conflict, that they can love each other, but they're just so intrinsically different people. But I just... I can't see that working. I just can't right now. It's going to take a lot. And if they do have Gold change to be in that place where he can be the man that Belle wants and needs, you know, we've kind of been there, done that already, and he still went back. So I don't think I could ever really believe it if it does happen. I don't know. It's going to take a lot, but we have another couple of seasons of the show still, so anything can happen with it. But as it stands right now, I'm just not big into that pairing. I think Belle just needs to move away and get out from all this mess. But yeah, that's where I stand with that. But that's not saying I don't like either of them as characters, because I think as characters they're both very, very good. I just don't like them together. So yes, there's that. And thank God they've removed the dislike button after I've said all of that. But yeah, what else have we got? The whole thing with Emma's dream and stuff. I hope they explain exactly where the dream came from. I like the idea of like, I saw this spell in the dream to remove our names. So maybe I should just try that. And her being scared of like that wolf thing is summoned somehow from the Twister. Where did we last see Ruby? I'm trying to work out where that... Did that like twist actually bring her here? Like, is is that an Oz thing? Because I thought it was going to be like something Zelina related because of like the Spiral and Wizard of Oz, witches and all that. Was Ruby in Oz? Is that a thing? Do I remember that? I don't even know. I can't remember exactly where we last saw Ruby, but you know, her kind of Emma worrying that was going to happen to Snow and she was going to die and all of that. I think that's a really interesting idea. I hope they do explain like why she had that dream, where that even came from in the first place. I'm sure they will. Otherwise, it's just how very convenient that you dreamed a spell that can remove your names. But maybe that's going to be the solution, and I'm excited to see where that all goes. But yeah, I liked the contrast between Emma being so worried about that coming to pass and it didn't, versus the other storyline that wasn't really about that, but what was prophesized and what was said did come to pass. I think that's really, really clever writing. So yeah, that was all very well and good. Hook trying to, you know, convince her that there's something going on with her. Emma feels like she's let people down and stuff, and she shouldn't have dragged them into this whole mess. Snow, you know, being Snow, standing her ground, giving the, you know, the big speech to kind of convince people and say, you know, we made our own choices to be here. And I think, you know, choice is a big deal in this show a lot of the time. I think that's kind of a big theme, and this season certainly showcased that a lot as well, the choices that we make, and the sometimes devastating consequences of that. But yeah, I did enjoy that side of things too. And yeah, how it ended up being, as soon as there was like a wolfy thing, I was like, I wonder if that's Ruby. I didn't say it out loud. I wish I had now, because I would have looked very clever. But unless it's just blatantly obvious, like the you're supposed to think it's, I don't know. But yeah, I like that she's back in the fray now, and I don't know what it's going to mean for her. Every now and again, we just get a few sprinkles of Ruby. I think the actress is just very busy a lot of the time and isn't really in it that much and can't be in it that much. But it's cool whenever she does show up, because she's kind of been around since the start. So I'm excited to see what it means now she's here. You know, is she dead if she's in the underworld? Who can say? But I did like that, and hopefully she's not too badly injured when she got actually shot with spells and an arrow. But we'll see, I suppose. But that's great setup, great way to end off the episode and set up whatever they're doing in the next one. But I'm excited for more of Ruby's story. Yeah, I'm intrigued by exactly what they have in mind with it. What does Ruby's arrival kind of mean for the whole situation? I'm trying to think of what ways she could like be helping against Hades and stuff, but maybe it's just gonna be like a little side story, or, you know, is she dead? Is she just get here somehow else? Like, I guess arriving in like a tornado or whatever that was. Like, exactly why did that happen when it did? There's probably going to be some backstory and explanations for that. So maybe this just brought her here some other way. She didn't actually die. I don't know. But that's kind of what they want you to speculate on, I guess. That's why they ended the episode the way they did. But it's cool to see her back. Excited to see what that character's going to do. Probably in the next one. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, that was all very well and good. I enjoyed everything with that. And yeah, the Regina and Zelina scene was really good as well. And nervous about Hades and Zelina, their connection. But I'm still enjoying Hades. I just like how the actor delivers his lines and really changes up his pattern of speech like every other sentence. Just shows the unpredictable nature of Hades, I suppose. And that you can't really get a read on him. That's why he's so hard to stop and defeat. Him being nervous about all the flowers growing, and then he's taking away some hope with what happened at the end with Belle and Rumpel. The flower dies, he gives it to Zelina, and she's like, "Ooh, so pretty, so beautiful." So yeah, I really don't know how they're going to stop him at this point. I imagine they will, but there's still, what is it, 6 episodes left of the season? I think there's 23 episodes in this season, so we are getting near the end. But you know, anything can happen in that time. Who knows? So I am excited for more and to see what's going to happen next. But yeah, fantastic episode yet again. Loved the Belle backstory with Gaston and how that reflected in the present day stuff. Hades kind of getting Gaston to, you know, hunt down Rumpel in a sense. I'm glad they did have more of a twist on that and they made it more about Belle in the end, because we had already had, I think, Merida hunting down Rumpel. I feel like Rumpel and Belle running away from someone shooting arrows at them. I feel like we already had that this season with Merida. So I'm glad it wasn't just recycling that in the same season. They did something a bit different with it, so I did like everything with that. And yeah, the idea of like things coming to pass, but not in the storyline you may have expected it to. I thought that was a really clever kind of piece of writing. And yeah, it brings Ruby into fold. Excited for that. Excited for more Zelena and Hades exploration. Maybe building some bridges between Regina and Zelena as well. Excited for all those things. But yeah, very good episode overall. Excited for more. And that's going to be everything for now. Until my next reaction, thanks for watching.